Quick rundown of all the promises Trump made at his inauguration: defeat inflation, expand drilling by declaring a national emergency. He's going to revive American manufacturing with oil and gas. He's going to remove the electric vehicle mandate, overhaul the trade system to protect American workers and families. That's going to involve lots of tariffs. He's going to declare an emergency on the southern border. He's going to immediately crack down on illegal entry. He's going to start deporting millions and millions of criminal aliens, and he's going to designate cartels as a foreign terrorist organization. And he's going to invoke Alien Enemy Act of 1798 to direct the government to use its full powers to eliminate foreign gangs and criminal networks bringing crime to the U.S. He's going to pursue policies to expand our territory. He's going to take back Panama. And this is a big one. He's establishing an official U.S. policy recognizing only two genders, male and female. He's launching American astronauts to plant the U.S. flag on Mars. And he's going to reinstate soldiers that were removed because of COVID. And so this is really cool. He made all these kind of promises, and immediately after he was inaugurated, he got up to the microphone and doubled down on everything he said he's going to do. We're going to track this as the days go by, and then we'll talk about some of these promises that he's made as they come up. One of the most interesting ones on here is this male and female, establishing an official policy recognizing only two genders, male and female. This is a great policy. We know that in the beginning, God made man male and female. There's only two genders, and when we don't recognize that, we're really into big trouble. I mean, you have men and women sports, and you have the previous health secretary was well, I guess he still is the health secretary, is a man who thinks he's a woman and wears a dress. It's time for us as a nation, and I hope this is really a sign of this. It's time for us as a nation to go back to what actually makes sense instead of the stupid policies that we've seen from the last 20 or 40 years. Um, like wide open borders. I really love the way that Trump is talking about using old laws to fight the foreign gangs and the cartels. Remember the war on drugs a long time ago? I think Trump plans on doing an actual war on drugs, one with shooting bullets and military action. Because if you declare a national emergency on the southern border, I believe you can send the National Guard and the military, and then if you also designate the cartels as a terrorist organization, that means you can just um, treat them like terrorists, and that means that they don't get due process the same way that foreigners would, a normal foreigner would. But a terrorist gets killed or captured, they get put in a camp. The government has no requirement to give them due process. And so I have a feeling that this is going to be one of the things that's really going to tick off the Democrats in the coming days. We'll watch this closely because there's going to be cartel members that disappear, maybe, or they might be drone strikes on the southern border, and people are going to lose their minds, even though we've had so many deaths because of the cartels. The other thing is the expansion of territory, and I find this very interesting. I'm absolutely pro taking over Mexico, for example. I think that Mexico, we absolutely should, as a nation, do attempt to annex it into the United States. Why? Well, it's because everybody, whether liberal or conservative, believes that Mexico and a lot of the nations south of our border are not effective at governance. I've heard so many arguments from liberals that I know personally that we really ought to allow Mexicans that come over the border illegally to stay because it's nothing but a horrible wasteland in the country they come from, and everyone would want to come to the United States because, and the government doesn't run it. It's the economy is no good in Mexico and so forth. If somebody came, if you live in a neighborhood and one of the kids from next door runs over with a bloody lip and says, "Hey, please help me. My father's been beating me or whatnot," you would call the police, and then they would come take the father away or whatever, right? What you wouldn't do is take that kid into your house and then keep them there forever. That's not how you do things. If the Mexicans or these other people that come from countries, if they have a legitimate reason to stay here because their country is poorly run, then as Americans, we have an obligation to actually aid them in making the country they've come from better. In the case of Mexico, they're so corrupt down there. I think it would be really easy for Donald Trump to just make a few purchases, you know, basically making a deal with the Mexican government and give the current Mexican government officials some money as compensation, and then just take Mexico off their hands. I don't see how that makes total sense. I don't know why we can't just do that. And with Canada, um, either way, if we can annex some of these countries, that would be good for our national security, and we do economy well. We do economy better than anywhere else in the world, and those countries, all those resources that are in Canada and Mexico and Greenland and Panama and so forth, um, we could manage those better. Now, as a nation, we're still really immoral. I do think it's a great move, though, that we are recognizing male and female, and we're trying to roll back um, years of immoral living and stuff like that. Drilling is good. A national emergency again. It's another way for Trump to get this ball going. I'm excited to see all this stuff. I feel like Donald Trump has decided that he is going to make this his second term a a term that will change the way Americans view about all the presidents of the last 40 or 50 or 60 years. You know, and so I think he's probably pretty I think that he's probably serious, and we may by 2028 we may see a man on Mars, because I think Donald Trump wants to show America that it can be great, and um, this is his last term. So very exciting stuff. I was concerned that Trump would not be able to take office, and God has allowed that, and thank God for that. And I think that we're going to see good things to come. We're going to keep track of this list and see see what kind of progress we make. In the future, it's going to be in the future we can anticipate the left is going to get upset about a lot of things, but if he moves on everything all at once, it'll be a little bit more difficult. I mean, can imagine if he's trying to annex Mexico at the same time that he's deporting millions of illegals, and at the same time that he's trying to get Greenland and everything else. The left's going to have a hard time deciding what thing they're going to demonize him about. I'm excited to see it all happen. The government officials, our leaders biblically are supposed to reward those who do good and punish those who do evil. And really, there's no greater source of evil right now in the United States, um, from a criminal point of view, than the cartels. And I think Trump's going to show us some old-fashioned justice, and I can't wait to see it. And I think that it's about time. If when you don't punish evildoers, the land is cursed. When you look at the Old Testament, um, if somebody does a murder and they're not and there's no justice, the land is cursed. And I think if Donald Trump makes good on some of these promises, especially the ones around justice about putting criminals behind bars, or killing those cartel terrorists, wonderful. I think that we may enjoy way more blessings and economic greatness, because we would have a leader that was finally bringing justice to criminals. We need to see that happen in the United States. We need to roll back soft leadership, and we need to have more justice in the United States.